Virunga National Park in North Kivu, the eastern province of Democratic Republic of Congo, lies at the heart of the conflict between the Congolese army and rebel movement M23, who claim to be fighting for the application of an agreement that they signed with the Kinshasa regime in 2009.
The civil war started in March, and then by July the fighting spread across this whole area. It was the highest level of violence that I've ever known in the 20 years I've spent in Congo. In the last 18 months, 12 of our staff have been killed.
Hopes for the ceasefire in place over the last few months were recently dashed, with renewed fighting and M23's advance on the provincial capital Goma. Protected by armed park rangers, Virunga Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, rich in biodiversity and home to critically endangered species like the mountain gorilla. But the war is not the only threat to Virunga National Park.
More recent pressure, which is of very great concern for the future of the park, is the issue of petrol. There is a belief that there are large oil deposits under the park.
The designated oil exploration area covers large swathes of the park. But serious questions have been raised about the basic legality of the controversial presidential decree that authorised oil exploration by the British oil company SOCO within the boundaries of Virunga.
Il n'y a aucune loi qui autorise à qui que ce soit de faire l'extraction de pétrole dans les parcs. Des sondages, c'est-à-dire faire la prospection, ça, sonder s'il y a des minerais, s'il y a du pétrole strictement interdit.
Of more immediate concern are reports that Congolese military personnel have been co-opted to mobilise support amongst the local population for oil exploitation. One human rights activist, speaking under condition of anonymity after receiving death threats, explains his concerns.
Mais tout ce qui me fait peur, c'est que juste à son arrivée, elle a utilisé parfois les militaires pour forcer les communautés à accepter son projet. Elle ne respecte pas les droits de l'homme, elle ne respecte pas les libertés. Cette armée va contraindre la population, va peut-être torturer, va restreindre les libertés d'expression de cette population.
Amidst the instability of the region, the activities of British oil company SOCO have sown confusion, distrust and fear amongst fishing and farming communities.
Bonga yangu juu ya petrole. Mimi nawaza juu petrole kuvi exploite vinapaswa haribisha samaki. Na samaki njoo tuko nafanya nini? Njoo yenye tuko naikalia hapa. Wakituambia sema tutaba segonde, tutabajengea, tutabapatia nini donge kila mtu atakuwa na pata vyake, lakini ilikuwa kanjo bongo. Kitu donge makofasio zote zenye tulifanya kanapo hakuna tamu yenye balishaka fanya.
Haiko ya kweli, na kutakuwa mapolisi ya mai na watu watahama na kulima itapunguka. Njoo tuko na woga sana ya maisha, sababu hatuna mwai ingine ya kutusaidia kuishi.
Mais on ne sait pas, nous ne sommes pas ni agronomes ni ingénieurs, nous ne sommes pas des chercheurs. Et si ça peut avoir aussi un impact sur nos champs, c'est que nous, la population, nous aura tués.
Mineral extraction, the oil industry, can be very positive if it's extremely well managed, but it's a very sensitive industry because if you look at examples elsewhere in Africa, you get very strong examples of poor practice with catastrophic results where very little is returned to the local economy in the long term, and there is enormous environmental damage.
The populations of Eastern DRC well know the corruption and suffering that accompanies life in a region with an abundance of natural resources, such as coltan, tin and iron. If oil is discovered and the constitutional protections afforded the national park are bypassed, the signs are that oil, rather than improving the lives of the farmers and the fishermen, could become another terrible blight on their lives.